pick up the kill.
They're gonna pick
Please,
up.
this is
I
not
hate,
okay.
I hate it. Why?
Triple kill, let's go!
Oh, baby, the Mr. Mime United to Sigil-Y. Can he pick up the tail?
It's really, scripted because it's submission close combat.
Told
That
you.
thing that I just finished saying before this
I
match,
told
and I hate
you.
that he forced. I'm gonna get this top Regieleki instead and see what value we can get out of it. Let's see, can this Alecki, it is right there, it does in fact go in. We're going to give the 30 cap over to the Duraludon, and then they are going to see if they can get a little bit of kills there as well.
And just like that, they're gone. Jungle Beavers walks turn that up, XP, and they're planning to crash bottom.
I said forever on the very first day I fell
Oh
for
my
you
god,
and then
damn
it
it,
rained
out of
on my
the
face. Boom, splash, stab me in the back, I'm blue
Absol
trash.
back,
Throw me to the
it's
curb
like-
like blues trash. Let me in the past like cool.
They're ripping.
Wish you would've told me that you felt this way.
Oh, got it. Oh, Le'Veon with
hanging
the
me
steal
out to
this
dry.
time.
Happened 1,000 times. I guess I should've seen it coming any day now. I thought we had the love and the magic. You had the gasoline and the matches. Lit me on fire.
But you know what, it's fine.
But I guess it really
Yeah,
just wasn't
Buzzwole
what I
just goes and
imagined.
says, alright,
Guess
I
I gotta
understand
live with
Absol's
that
down,
now.
I'll
Chest
go
got
ahead
a
and
hole that could fit on Mack truck. Splat on the ground, I ain't getting back up. But I should've known better, cause
saving the
I
Dispenza
said
and getting a kill on the
forever on
Absol. There
the
goes
very
a lot
first
of
day
feels
I
like really
fell
pressure
for
now.
you and landed
there's a
right
Duraludon
on my
on
face.
the
Boom, splat,
Can they
right out
defend
of the
this
blue
lane
like
long
no
enough?
splash. Thought I had control, but
Absolutely
you crashed. Left me in the past like who's that?
Seriously, who
Lucky
is
Tail.
Splat hit the ground, but I'll bounce right back. Trust me, I ain't going down like that. Custom shirts, I had to dust the dirt off. Adjusted myself, put the crown right back. Ding. Okay, I'm shining now. Had to get lost with you to find myself, and I find it funny.
Hello, how you guys doing? This is Rhino Gaming again. This is the league commissioner of the Pokemon Unite Coordination League, and we're going to be talking about Season 2. Talking about things that we are going to update and how to do things and what exactly we are going to be doing later on and how to perfect the things that we have already brought throughout Season 1. A lot of Season 1 was between me and 2 other people, and I want to get a lot of feedback from the viewers, from the players, from the captains, and having to figure out how exactly we ourselves are going to bring Season 2 and forward on how to further impact the league and make it as much fun as possible for everybody and as for you as viewers as well. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of things. Obviously we're going to be going over a lot of the things from yesterday as well to give insight to everybody as far as who haven't heard about it or seen about it or done anything for it. So today's going to be very interesting, to say the least, for players and captains, if they would like to obviously put their 2 cents in how to make the league better. I put all the notes onto the stream here in a second, but I want to actually say thank you to all you guys as viewers and everybody who's been watching the league. It has really made me very happy since day one that I've announced it, and we had some hiccups, yes, but the league wasn't even started at that point, so things were kind of done, and it is what it is at that point. But what I'm gonna say is right now is I mean I was willing to hear feedback and I was willing to hear things. There's just certain things where I don't want to be told I need to do this and I need to do that when I'm trying to build something different than the UCS, something that should be pretty much done as far as picks and bans wise goes and stuff like that. And I kind of left it up to the captains too at the beginning of the season. Like right as soon as UCS was announced, I was like, hey guys, like, because it was like pretty much about a week later, we were going to start our first week of league as well. And I was like, do you guys want to go based off of the UCS or go off the picks and bans? And they said the picks and bans was fine. So I'm very happy with what we have done so far and how we have done it. And it only takes all of us to go ahead and reach out to everybody else and say how wonderful this league is and how wonderful the picks and bans have been since week 1. Like I said, obviously we had a couple of hiccups, but other than that, it's been it's been very fun and very fun to say the least as far as us um just getting everything done and seeing a lot of these players grow as individuals and see a lot of these teams grow as themselves as well. You guys saw Squirtle's Den earlier, or not Squirtle's Den, Super Squirtle Squad earlier play. And like I said, I have really high hopes for Super Squirtle Squad. I'm really, really reaching, like, hoping for them to better themselves. There's a lot of rotation issues that they kind of do, but I really want them to really look further back into this league and start focusing on what exactly they've been doing and looking at the VODs and stuff and do VOD reviews. But that's just me. I don't know if they do or not, obviously. But not only them, Team Rocketo taking some wins away from the top teams and dominating some of those wins as well. Catching out, being really good positioned. Like Team Rocketo has been really good as far from the start. EXP Elite Force has a lot of things that they've been working on as well, and they've shown that from games and games and games on. So they look very promising going into season 2 as well. War Legion looking very, very promising. They've been, yes, they kind of struggled a little bit against some of the top teams, but they have really stomped their name into it as well. Ikigai no Tsurugi, no options there. A lot of their teams as well doing everything. Hashtag Team Drip, as you guys heard. Animated Eagle earlier. Casting. It's been a long ride for a lot of these teams, and it's been very exciting to watch. From practically week 1, Squirtle's Den getting the Penta. I think week 2. We've had, I think, only 3 pentas in the league so far, which is very, very amazing to see in the competitiveness throughout the league. So it's very awesome to see a lot of these teams and a lot of these players grow up as they have been. So I really want to shout out to them. But other than that, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, as I'm gonna go ahead and get into what season 2 is going to look like. Let me go into this. Let me actually full screen that, because that's gonna be better. I kind of blew it up a little bit so that you guys all could see. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Hello, everybody. Doesn't seem like we have a whole big crowd here, it is a Friday night, I understand.
Just you and me, homie.
Yeah, seems like it is just me and you. I don't know if you watched anything, or were you here yesterday?
I was here for the discussion yesterday. I didn't watch yesterday's games. We were grinding. Today I did watch all the games, though.
Okay. Obviously, I'm just going to go over things just for stream for them, too. I was really hoping there was going to be a lot of the other captains and team members that didn't show up from yesterday, just to kind of get their input as well. But that just goes to show maybe if they do come back or not come back, so that's up to them. But with that, picks and bans, obviously we're going to keep the same picks and bans. We're going to keep the timer to 1 minute for picks and bans going into the following season. Right now, we did implement it in week 5, but teams aren't really opting to use it right now, as they've been very quick with their picks and bans. A couple things have been a little weird as far as picks and bans going into this last game. But again, some teams might opt to go, hey, how about we try to have them go back to picks and go back to the timer, which I'll be 100% okay with. Roster size, we're going to go to 8 players instead of the infinite amount that I had already, which is very, very understandable. We do have one team that does want to come back, and that is Magikarp Clan, which is very amazing to hear. They will have 9 players, and I said that they could definitely have 9 players as long as they just don't have 15 to 20 as a roster size, or consistently changing their players each week, and they said they are absolutely fine with that. Subs, if you are not on week 1, so let me actually write that. So subs, if they are not on the roster start of week 1, they are required to have 3 weeks total of matches. So that being including if they played week 1 and they want to play all the way up to or week 2, right? And they weren't on the roster, in order for them to be eligible for the start of the tournament or the playoff series, I should say, they have to have 3 weeks total. Oh my God, can I spell correctly, please? Total of matches. So that way they, have to have those. So if they play week 2, they have to have 3 weeks. So they could play week 2, 7, and 10. That is technically their 3 weeks of total matches. So they will be eligible for the playoffs. Players must have the same name as the list on the roster. We've been having a lot of issues as far as us trying to implement data into our website, as that will be announced at the end of the season, or shown off at the end of the season live on stream. We're having issues where some players are changing their name every week or changing their name every 2 weeks. It's been very awkward for us to try to find them on the API and try to implement their data into the website and sheet. So we're gonna recommend and basically put the hammer down and say you must have the same name as the list on the roster. I understand a lot of players have they always want to change their name because they're allowed to. If you want to, you could definitely do that on your main, but you are going to be required to have the same name as the list on your roster, just due to other issues that we are having when we implement. But if you consistently keep doing it, at that point, I'm going to have to, step my foot forward and probably tell them, that player is going to have to be gone, just due to we want, we're trying to solidify this league, and I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Dancing apparently is allowed. I am against this and for this. Everybody has opted to go ahead and go with the dancing, which is completely fine. That is, it's a player's perspective and captain's perspective. All the captains and players went ahead and said, yes, we want to allow it. So they can do it at their own discretion. I just don't want to hear anything back of going, well, you danced on me and I didn't like it. At that point, it's already in the rules. This is it. So that is what it is. You can go and bash that other player if you want or whatnot. Captains moving picks and ban sheet to its own channels. They opted to go ahead and try to better the Discord for it, for themselves to be able to find the picks and ban sheet, which is perfectly fine. I didn't think about that, which is great. Hearing things from the captains is amazing about that. Website, captains are, I'm requiring the captains to help us out as much as possible, as far as getting this website up and running, profile pictures, everything else, etc. Captains will kind of get more of a detailed, as we will have a captains meeting going forward. So the question and answers from yesterday, everybody was really trying to make the MVP stuff actually work, and I really do like this. Video clips for the MVP of the week for every player submitted. So every week we always have 3 to 4 players that I pick, basically from each match that we have, matches that I think are worthy. I wouldn't say worthy. If it there's sometimes where the match is so team based, I can't just choose one player. So unfortunately in that game or in those matches, I'm it was the whole team. I can't just pick the whole team, So at that point, I had to kind of just go, okay, well, you guys did amazing as a team, but there's no real MVP out of it, which is great because it's a team match. It's a team game. But obviously, we do have other games that you can see that a Decidueye snipe literally took out 3 players out of nowhere. It didn't really take anybody to set that up. He kind of just did it, right? So those type of clips are kind of be up for the MVP vote, and they want to go ahead and have those submitted. I'm going to submit them on YouTube so that way you guys, and give the link in the Discord underneath that player, so you can go and check on that video clip. And it's kind of I really do like that. I didn't think about this, and that is actually amazing of one of the players, recommending it. So that was really cool. Possible clips on website as well to vote for the MVP. Which is great. We're going to probably do that, the same thing. Basically just going to be the YouTube clip on the website, and it actually all you have to do is click on it and automatically play it instead of you having to go straight to the YouTube, which is really good as well. And articles on and YouTube content for weekly matches going to be great, just so that way you guys can read up on what exactly happened, kind of like do a little bit of a tiny play-by-play, but in a article format. And then obviously we'll have like the YouTube video for that match. Again, YouTube is going to be very big for the league as far as pretty much every match is going to be up there. I tried to do it from the start of week 1. I just got really behind because I was having to do so much. But it seems like a lot of the players and a lot of the captains are going to be helping me out, which is amazing. I can't stress that enough. But with that, so I'm also going to be asking Mathcord, hello, Matchcord. What is Matchcord? Mathcord mods, and ask them what should be banned for tournaments. But apparently we can go on their banned tournament sheet on the actual channel, or on the what's it called, Discord site. Instead of having to ask them. And then players do have a say in the MVP role. So if they want to nominate a game, like, hey, they really thought that this game was really good because of this so-and-so player really helped me out, they can supply me with that name. And what I do is I go through the VOD and go through that match and go, okay, yep, I can see it, okay, and then grab some clips and then go, okay, well, here's another MVP. I will have more of about like the MVP stuff as far as us going through the way that the MVP is going to go. Saturday, I'll pretty much ask, like, Saturday I'll put up going, hey, MVP roles will be, or MVP voting will be tomorrow. Go ahead and submit whoever you think it is. These are players who I have so far. And I won't put the video on it yet. But then after that, then, whoever contacts me, I'll go back and look at, and then I'll take the top 4 and kind of go, okay, cool. These are the 4 that I think that are, MVP worthy. And then we'll go on from there. Queues in the lobby, we're going to stick with the same queues. It's pretty much me being admin and doing basically basing it off of my what's it called? If I can get some help here. What is it actually called? Wish I knew what it was called. It's my crud. I really don't know what it's called. My bad. Stream will now be a 1 minute delay. So one thing I want to ask, and this is kind of all to all the players right now, if you're in the Discord, or not in the Discord, but yeah, if you're in the Discord or even in the chat right now and you're just listening, if you could type it out. Is this feasible? Could we possibly do this like they do in the top teams?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
It becomes the case of, well, when my DC happened, you stopped it immediately, but when the other teams did, it took you like 15 seconds to realize before you stopped it. And I think the safest way to play it is to blanket statement play through DCs.
Okay.
Unless it happens in the loading screen. Like, if it happens in the loading screen, you can pause it, which is kind of what the top teams have been doing. Like, during their scrims and stuff, they'll have an admin sit in there. And if a crash happens during loading screen and somebody says something, they'll pause it like instantly.
Okay.
But once the game like starts to play out,
Where
kind of
is
just
the
have to let it play
fine
out.
line for disconnects? Like, is it literally as soon as the game happens?
As soon as the game happens, because the glitches that have been occurring in loading screen show on loading screens. Like that bar that shows underneath each character for them
Right.
loading in won't fill, so you'll be able to physically see it. So a team can't like claim, "Oh, we need a DC, we need to pause it right now," and you have no like verifiable proof on either way. You can see those DCs happen in loading screen, and you can insta pause for them. Otherwise, I think you just have to let them play out. Like we had I know it was on stream, and our Machamp with like, it was like 210, and our Machamp DC'd, his internet crashed, and he AFK walked topside during Ray, and you can't pause at 210 because someone's walking upwards.
Yeah.
And like, you don't want it to be like confusing in the rules where somebody could argue that they needed that pause and they should have deserved that pause.
Yeah, because as soon as it happens, it's really hard to kind of pay attention to the Discord and then going back into the
Yeah,
game
exactly.
and pausing it right away.
I think if it happens in the loading screen, you'll see it right away. So I think it's fine to pause like instantly, and then the admins can just, or the like announcers or casters or whatever, can just talk while that pause is being resolved. But if it happens like midway through a game, you're not gonna notice because there's 10 people. You're panning to where the action is. If someone off farming an off lane DCs, you're not gonna see that till way later.
Would we say anything before, I guess, the 9-minute mark would be okay? Or
I guess I would say like 9:30, frankly.
9:30?
Yeah, I think you'll see a DC from the lobby screen like before 9:30, because it'll mean that they never left the base. It'll be one person just standing there.
Right, yeah. So any DC from 9:30 mark will... I'll just put that in next. Any DC before 9:30 mark will result in restart. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, because I was kind of like, because we had a disconnect earlier today, and it was, I think, at the 5-minute mark. And
Yeah, and
it was
the
like,
bot took over. I watched it. The bot took over as the
Yeah.
Wigglytuff, so he didn't like ever stand still.
Right.
The bot took it over his player, and you're not gonna notice because he's not standing still anymore. Now he's just walking kind of funny.
Yeah, he
Like, he's
said
just
it
being
in our
kinda dumb.
Discord. He said it in our Discord. It just kind of, I didn't catch it literally until like the end of the match, and I was just like, oh, I did not know this. Like, but this was something that I wanted to bring up. Like, I mean, it's kind of obviously disconnects are huge, is because like the way the state of the game is, which is fine, right? Like, hopefully they fix it later. But you know, this is something that we just gotta, figure out. So, but I like that rule, and that's kind of like how the rule that I had it already. So I like it. It's fine.
I know my team, we suffered a disconnect during UCS.
Yeah,
and
you guys
you just had to play it out.
I think you guys did it during ours as well as I think was it y'all? I know I'm a champ disconnected.
Yeah, that was us.
Yeah,
that was us.
Yeah, it was so.
We still won the flip, but we had to force the flip because we weren't winning the fight without our Machamp.
Yeah, I think it was against I want to say
Team Drip
Force, or was it
Team Drip?
Oh, it was Team Drip.
It was game 3.
Yep. Oh man, that was
That would have been a way to lose our first game of the season, like our first set. We had DC at 210.
Crazy. A stream will be a 1-minute delay. That was kind of voted on yesterday. Some teams did 1 at 2, but majority wanted it 1, so I left it at 1, which is fine. I think I'll probably shake it up every week just to kind of see exactly how it impacts, because I can tell if a team kind of checks things out if they do, So it's a good tell because I've been watching it since week 1. Because after like I think week 3 or 4, I was just like, you know what? Yeah, a delay is pretty good. So, team names are a no-go. I kind of was gonna implement a team name thing, but all teams want to come in as their own, which is perfectly fine. But we will require, or not require, but will be asking teams to make their logo animated. Is not required though. And transitions, but is not required. This kind of goes for a lot of the teams that are sponsored. I know a lot of the teams that are sponsored will have their own animated logo and transitions. So
Shout out my sponsor.
here, so they'll be having their own. But some teams won't. So it's up to them. Obviously, if they want to make their team, look like the rest, they're gonna have to get their own. They can pay me if they want to get it, but that's entirely up to them. Casters. So casters now, I will be adding a note for them to talk what to talk about in streams, just to kind of give them a heads up of what exactly to start saying for the day, and to kind of go forward towards that. I really like that idea. I didn't think about it, and we will definitely be starting to do that. Players and casters can stream. There is no repercussions or anything. They could stream before their matches if they want. They can stream after their matches are done. There is no repercussions as far as what I've been doing. As far as players not casting on the days that they're playing, it's up to them. So if they want to cast, they can. I'm asking, just because it's hard to try to get me casters enough as it is. But I am trying to get casters, specifically for Thursdays and Fridays. Post match, we will be in between sets. We will be asking how the games were and interview the team as they got their win, which I think is very cool. I think that's a neat thing to do, and kind of basically we could probably talk to the MVP of that game. If it's the whole team, that is the whole team. If the whole team wants to get in the interview, they definitely can. They can shout themselves out and everything. I really like that idea, and that will be kind of going forward. Yeah, it might take a little bit time away from the overall matches and stuff, but then I'll just push up the matches, like, it'd be like 9:15 or something, which 15 minutes I don't think is a whole big deal. Total 45 minutes for the end of the match, or any of the later games, but it's kind of voted upon, and they said let's do it, and I kind of like it. So I'll try to obviously limit where we're not talking to them forever, but we'll get to that point. Have every player and captain tell us how to pronounce their players and their names, because some names that come in were kind of like, what? We had I think Malinaki, and I didn't even know exactly how to say that, and I was just like Imhal, like just what, like, so we had some names that came in, we just don't know how to say it because it's unique to them. So we will have every player and captain try to tell us how to exactly pronounce their names, so when we do give shout outs as casters and try to say their names throughout casting, it's a little easy on us. The playoff bracket, we will be using the same playoff bracket as we already are. It's been voted upon, saying that they really, really like the way that the playoff bracket is brought upon, so we will keep that. The only thing that I am trying to figure out if we keep is the standings, as far as the different divisions was what I had an issue. I don't know if I know you're the only one, Austin, but maybe I could put that in the chat as well.
I think having it split by divisions is a little bit different. I think that's cool. I think it's a little bit luck based on like which division you end up with,
Right.
which some teams might not be the biggest fan of, but it's luck based for everyone. So in that sense, it's kind of fair.
Right.
So I like
Yes.
leaving it as the being in by division, but I don't know. We can play it by year after this season too to figure out what we're doing with the divisions.
Yeah,
We can let it all wrap up first.
That's all captains. The divisions is fine. Because one thing that I like, so what I'm trying to do is obviously give the winner of the league some insight of what they can do for the following season, and for the following season they can already make a rule. But what I was thinking too is that they can make they can at least do the first 4 teams for the divisions, and then the rest of the divisions are handpicked. So it kind of could be cool, kind of could be a little bit risky too as well, because you can't put all of them in yours, so it'd be little, they have to be like, oh well, one's on Zapdos, the other one's on Rayquaza, then one's on Zapdos, the other one's on Rayquaza, so like you can divide it up that way. But like again, it comes down to if the captains want to continue the divisions or not. Teams, we will go to 12 teams max. Or we could do 16, but this is kind of up to all the captains. I'm really hoping, like I said, a lot of the other captains kind of show up today, as this has been a little bit of a yes and no. It's kind of been even as far as I've been hearing. 16 teams will bring in 1 extra hour each day, or it would bring only Wednesday night games. I thought it would bring in Tuesday, but actually it only bring in Wednesday, as it is only 2 matches. So that's entirely up to you guys as captains and players. If an extra night is okay, but I know some teams are like no, some teams are like yes, but if we don't, then it could bring only 1 extra hour per day. So Thursday night games could go until I think 11 p.m. Central, which is a lot, but it can be doable. It's only if the teams are willing to do it. And Friday nights as well. So that is a little bit of an up play. There will be a play-in tournament for the remaining fill spots of the league. We do have a 12th spot already right now that is available. Depending on how many teams come back from the league, from my understanding, it looks like everybody is going to come back from the start. I don't know if all teams are going to come back this season too or not. Haven't really gotten a word from a couple of teams, but most of the teams have been like, no, we're coming back. So it's very exciting to hear that, but it's obviously up for discussion. But the remaining fill spots of the league will be through a tournament play-in, so they have to win the tournament in order for them to play in. If they do win the play-in tournament, they also get to choose their first week opponent. Not only do they get to pick their first week opponent, they also get to pick first ban. Either ban first or second. So there's a lot of repercussions of doing in the play-in tournament. That's kind of me rewarding them of going, thank you so much for trying to play in, to get into the league, and you've done so much already. It's kind of like my way of giving back to them a little bit. Yes, that is my rule. Yes, that sucks for all the teams that are coming back. There's nothing that I can give them. But, I think they could respect the fact that I would do the same thing for them as well. I didn't make all the teams that the teams that came into the first season do a play-in tournament when I had like almost 16 teams want to do it. I kind of just did the first 12. So I think at that point it's kind of nice, to kind of do this for teams that want to play it, to do in the tournament. The next kind of section I actually don't have anything for is the Discord. Is there anything in the Discord you guys would like to change?
So I think the oh, hi Rhino. I just was here recently.
Hello.
It's Chopper,
Hello.
by the way. Okay, so what I think for next season, I think it's going to be very important to start delegating a lot more when it comes to just the commissioner's job, because I feel like while the communication can is there, and most of the time it does feel like a one man show, in the sense that you have a lot of responsibilities. So I think it would be really good if maybe we can get some more moderators in, and you can start delegating some more divisive work between them. For example, just have somebody that's going to be running the entirety of the bracket, or rather, like, who's going to work on these matches on Tuesday and Thursday, who's going to work these matches on Friday, and just, I don't know, just start maybe delegating a little more, just so you don't feel like you have so much on your plate, because I feel like you have a lot of intent and a lot of purpose when it comes to the league itself. But if you have some additional help, it would help in the sense of getting a lot more organized and getting those minute details in, especially when it comes to communication.
Communication wise, definitely. I'm 100% behind that. It's just trying to find the people who are willing to do that is the issue. I've tried to get people to see if they can cover for some nights as well. It's just the quality of the stream was kind of just not there due to they don't have a stream deck, or they don't have two monitors. There's one monitor here, so there's a lot of issues that come to that. I'm 100% behind of trying to get other people to help with that, but the production side I probably will leave to just me, just because I have all that literally in front of me, unless they can do the same and know how to flip from scenes to scenes, and how to actually, I wouldn't say how to actually use the OBS, as I know they know how to. There was just some really didn't know exactly how to communicate, and how they've seen me do it as they've been doing it, as they haven't been doing, I should say. So I think Thursdays and Fridays I'll still leave it to me. I just want a set of casters for Thursdays and Fridays where I don't have to where I can have all of that for that. But the communication also, as far as me having to ask each and every other game, hey, are you doing first or second band? At this point, they should kind of know exactly who, they lost the match, so they didn't get to choose, right? So I should automatically be getting that message already, instead of having to ask for it or wait for it. So that's kind of like, but I kind of do it just because I'm not getting that answer right away already. So it's kind of just trying to put in things, in a smooth, how can I put it? A smooth operating system, I guess I would put it. But yeah, I would honestly love somebody who can take care of the socials for me, because I'm not a big person on Twitter or anything like that. Like, I'll say hi and bye to some people who are posting things, but other than that, I'm not gonna sit there and try to post on Twitter every single moment, just because I don't like Twitter. I don't like using it. I don't like socials. I would love to have somebody who can be on socials for me. That'd be great. Being in Discord a little bit often too, having like some mods in Discord will be 100% awesome to see and answer questions, and try to give that feedback to other players as well. Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot on my plate, but honestly, I think I've been doing okay. If I haven't been, please let me know. I know some of my wording could be differently. It's just because English is my first language, but I hate spelling. I hate typing. I just like to speak it out. So, other than that, like, yeah, if there's something that you want me to try to help, or try to delegate something, and we have somebody for it, 100%. But there's already enough that I'm trying to do as far as paid gigs, and I'm not trying to pay any more money than what I already am to this league. if that makes sense, Chopper.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And no worries. I believe that you've been doing a really good job with everything that you've been going through. I'm just putting out there that maybe getting some additional help would actually make everything in the season actually run smoother. But it's not a knock on you as how you are running it. I just feel like delegation could be really good. Obviously, because of what you mentioned, is actually a lot more difficult to actually get people to help. But at the same time, like the social media thing, we can totally get somebody and just start posting clips of the league, and that way we can get some more traction. If we get more traction, more teams are going to start getting interested, then we open ourselves up to more casters and you can put it on social media and all that stuff. So just thinking about the short term sacrifices and one has to make just to continue to prosper on the long term, I think it would be something to look out for. But again, it's not a knock on you and how you're running things. I just figured you could use some help because I know what
100%.
like I don't understand. I don't understand what you're going through because I'm not the commissioner, but at the same time I am in those trenches
Yeah.
somewhat with the when it comes to these types of decisions. And yeah, you could use a hand, buddy. Like like
I
for
would.
real. Like
So the thing that I kind of really, and this is asking for a lot, obviously, and this is anybody who's listening in here, and anybody, if you guys know somebody too, is literally to help me post it on YouTube for me. Like I do, so like I can do the MVP stuff, I could do the clips. It's having to take the entire match entirely, clip as much as I can of it, sit there for 10 whole minutes, or not 10 whole minutes, but like sit there and then fast forward and then take that clip out and then put it as a highlight and then put it out and then put it into YouTube and then having to do that for all matches, because like I'm trying to separate the matches rather than doing it, one entirely full hour of that match, because then I think that's just, you're not gonna get people to really watch it that way. You're only gonna get people to really watch it. Obviously, they're only gonna watch the beginning and then the Rayquaza fight. But at least this way, if people are really interested in the league, they can watch it all the way through. And not only that, teams themselves can do that. So if I can get somebody to help me out with that, 100%. Like, that's the only thing I'm really like. I really want somebody to help out with is that, and then obviously Twitter, like, because I'm not a Twitter guy. I hate it, and if people can get that, by all means, please just take it. You can make the league what's it called, Twitter page, and then do whatever you want to it. Let me see. Let me put that in here. So, I'll put help. Exclamation points. YouTube. Content uploads. And then Twitter and other socials upload. Because I'm also going to do TikTok as well for the league, just to kind of see. Obviously, I've seen a lot of people really like TikTok for content as far as Pokemon Unite. Just getting those little clips in there would be amazing. So I'm really trying to think about doing that for the league. And set casters for Thursdays and Fridays, and one extra person for call outs. And if obviously that extra person can't do it, then I just step in and I'll just do it. Perfectly fine. But yeah, I mean, I really, obviously, I do want to dedicate stuff to. I think the production side, I'll probably keep it to me. But YouTube content and Twitter and other socials and stuff, 100% agreed as far as getting the league out there and getting, those priorities out as well, as far as also helping out the league side. So with that, is there anything, Chopper, that you want to try to see in season 2 as far as like the league is concerned, more or less than like content and stuff?
Um,
Because you weren't here yesterday, so we kind of like talked about a lot, obviously.
yeah. Yeah, and I think that most of the stuff we actually had a couple of conversations like off the record, quote unquote, not streaming as much when it comes to different changes that we're gonna have on season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think for season 2 we can actually start adding another award, which would be most improved player. I think that would be really cool for storytelling purposes. Continue to have that MVP or player of the week, and it's just an overall most valuable player at the beginning, as well as just the recognition of the players that are continuously improving. I think it could be something that we could add eventually, but it would be just like after the season is ending, just as we're heading into playoffs, something that we could look out for, most improved. And it doesn't even have to be a specific player. It could be a most improved team as well, as sometimes maybe could be a different concept that maybe you can tackle. I think that other than that, I think it's just a matter of continue to organizing ourselves when it comes to the league in general, and continue to improve everything that's been looking like the layouts and all that stuff. But that's just a couple of details, and a lot of the teams, like you mentioned, are very excited to go into the next season.
Yeah.
So having those teams around can be super important, especially when it comes to actually having players communicating when it comes to casting too. If we have any difficulty on that regard, it's always cool to always have that player perspective on what's going on. So that's also pretty important. But other than that, the only thing that I would say is that, the 2 division thing, I'm not really a big fan of. I would just have all the teams in one Arceus main group, and everybody can just fight everybody and just have the rankings that way, because I feel like that's the fairest thing for everybody. Especially just for balancing purposes and making sure that the one of the divisions doesn't feel as lopsided as another one. So, but those are things that you're eventually going to get into when it comes to the other season. And the playoff format is something that we discussed as well, and I am very happy with the fact that you decided to go with the quote unquote LPL from League of Legends format, because it's
Yes.
something that's it gives it a unique flair. But I think more presence on social media is going to be super important. The TikTok thing is excellent, especially since a lot of people like to digest their clips in very short seconds. So we could put a lot of hype plays on the TikTok, as well as on the Unite World Coronation League Twitter, so we can keep getting traction on these things, and then everybody can see like, yo, this good Unite that's been playing, and hopefully more teams decide to join, and we can have like hype play-ins for the league too. So I'm very excited for the future overall. Just the things that I mentioned before, just a delegation, as well as maybe including a most improved team or a most improved player award for next year, because we're already going to have some sort of history for the first teams that were already in the season.
Right.
And
I really like the most improved. I we could definitely try to do something for that at the end of the next season. I'll just have to figure out how to implement that into basically an actual reward rather than just saying it. Because I do want to do something for not only most improved, but overall like the most MVPs. So like if you get 3 MVPs out of the entire season, it that kind of helps out too. Just kind of makes players really try to stand out and do things. but maybe, and that one's a maybe because like most improve is a lot easier to do than it is like the MVP stuff, because you just we could end up just one for everybody. But other than that, yeah, we're gonna pretty much keep the playoff bracket too going in even into season 2. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up to also the captains about the divisions. I really, I kind of like it either way, just because of the way like the tournament bracket is. So it kind of it's gonna be up to the captains themselves if they want to keep the divisions or if they don't. So that that would be entirely up to them. The only other thing I would say, what was it? I know I had one more thing. I think that was it, actually. Yeah, I think that was it. Everybody still liked the ban system, the picks and bans. I left it up because we had a lot of people in yesterday talking about it. And they really wanted just to keep the picks and bans. They didn't want to change the picks and bans at all. So
I think picks and bans are what make this league stand out.
yeah. That's what.
Hard agree. I think it's the best. I think it's the best pick and ban format in North America, or rather, like anywhere for Pokemon Unite specifically.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else doing it.
Yeah, there is nobody else doing the picks and bans because everybody's trying to follow the UCS. And as much as I like the UCS, like I think it's okay. I just don't like the fact how they could pick the same bands. I think they could have kept it to where the purple side gets the ban first, orange side gets banned second, and they could have easily done it as lowest seed does, ban first or whatever, and then highest seed gets the ban second, so I think they could have easily done that as, all the tournaments are pretty much seeded anyway, and that's easily written down and followed. So, but that's just me. But other than that, I really feel like we hit a lot of things on the nail, and obviously we'll be bringing this back up as soon as the season ends. I do want to find out though what exactly we could do for the league to continue every week, to at least stay like live every week, or cause if not, we're just on a downfall till for 3 months, or 2 months. I think it is like 2 or 3 months until season 2 happens, or until the play-in tournament really happens. I'm trying to figure out what exactly we could do during that time, but I'm not entirely sure, as I'm not really trying to spend money on tournament plays, because then I think that draws teams that I don't want, to be honest.
Well, an easy way to actually do it would be just to rerun a couple of things and just edit down and just go straight to the matches, and you can just put them weekly, just to recap what went on during the league. That's a good way to actually recap while we are on quote unquote breaks, because it does actually count as an off season. And
they're not letting me do recaps, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know what the setting is or whatever, but they are just not letting me be able to do recaps. Maybe somebody can help me out with that later on. But yeah, they're not really letting me do that.
I don't think having an off season is the worst thing. Yeah. I will note. I think it's natural for a league like this to have an off season.
Okay.
So I don't think you really need to force pushing. I think we force push content, but I don't think we have to force push a stream weekly for the off season.
Okay.
I personally have some experience running TikToks, So if you need help like on how to work our like clips and highlights into that format, I can probably help. But I think like having something to Twitter every week of a highlight, having something about the upcoming season every 2 weeks or whatever, maybe pushing some sort of content out every week to keep people coming in and getting ready for the next season of the league is going to be great. But I personally don't think we have to have a stream weekly in the off season.
Okay, I'm all for that. I mean, that just gives me 2 minutes, or not 2 minutes, but 2 months, obviously, to kind of take take a good breather and really work on. Oh, by the way, what do y'all think about? I guess the logo of the league, and like changes as far as that, and also emotes. How do you think emotes should run? As far as like, because obviously I want to do emotes of the actual league instead of doing the team leagues, as I am only allowed to have 5 teams for the emotes, and I just don't think that is okay, because then it leaves out the other, the rest of the teams that don't have the emote, right? As far as subs, so I think having the league actual sub is better. And then once season 2 happens, I will have follow emotes, and try to do those instead. It's very wonky of how I think of the emotes the way it is.
So, as the league continues to progress, I think we can get some really cool Pokemon themed stuff. For example, a Psyduck emote seems to be a must,
Yeah.
especially when people are going to see like not so good play. And maybe we can start actually putting um like putting Pokemon names onto awards too. That could actually help with some of the namings. Um, Additional to that, maybe we could put like the league logo as an emote, and then something.
Because I was thinking
We can
about
put like
doing
a
a
hype
champion.
Pokemon.
I was thinking about a logo with the um like the team that wins, and that logo obviously has their team, that their team logo with the trophy next to it, like they're holding it to where that was
Mm,
like the season 1
mm-hmm,
uh
mm-hmm.
winner as a logo, or as an emote, I should say.
The thing that I like about the Unite World Coronation League, like the logo itself, is that you have the three legendaries. So, for what I was thinking was like, if you want to name the MVP, you can name it the Entei Award for the end of the
Oh,
year, and then you can have like an Entei emote actually placed, and or even the same belt that you have on your main logo could actually work as one of the emotes too. You can have
I
you
like
can
the
make yourself into a
creativity.
caricature, and you can be like super hype, and people can just like scream. Like you can be screaming as an emote too, and you could be like a little caricature, like a drawing, and it's just you screaming as a commissioner, and it can be used for like hype moments, but it can also be used like you're laying down the law. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that you can pretty much do when it comes to all these things.
Right. So I'm gonna do like an MVP emote, obviously hype emote, season 1 winner emote. Because obviously you get to have 5, and then you get to have 5 followers, and the 5 followers, I'll make those as like, um, I'll probably actually do those as the 5 follower emotes, just so that way everybody can use them. And make like the subscription ones. Hmm. I'll have to figure out the subscription ones. I can leave the subscription ones for the sponsors, or flip flop them. I don't know. It'd be weird. It's one or the other. Yeah, I'll have to deep dive into that one. But I really like the idea of the MVP emote, hype emote, season 1 winner emote. I know you said one more, Chopper.
Just Psyduck.
Oh, Psyduck. There you go, Psyduck. Please emote.
Everybody loves a good confused emote.
Yeah, exactly. Calculated emote, I guess, right?
Maybe like a big brain play emote.
Yeah.
You call it the Slow King play because Slow King is a genius.
Yo. I was actually thinking of like Lugia or the other one, kind of base it off the logo a little bit. Put it as one of those.
Oh, I do like me an Entei. Suicune is majestic, and
Yeah.
Raikou is Raikou. Raikou is also there.
Yeah, Raikou is just there. All right. We'll probably go off of that, but that's pretty much it for season 2 wrap up. Obviously at the end of the season, literally after the finals ends, I'll do another one of these, but I kind of just wanted a fill-in of just trying to figure out what exactly I could do and try to work on those as soon as possible, obviously. To where it's not trying to struggle to try to get all these team players and captains back after the league is already done going, hey, what do you want to do? I'd rather do it like right towards the end of the season like this. So it really helps me out, and I think it helps out the players and you guys as captains is going a little bit of a sigh relief of I am trying to work with you guys. I'm not here just doing it all or trying to do it all. I am trying to do a lot of it obviously by myself, but there is a lot that I know that you guys want to have fixed, and I want to hear those. Like, I did a lot of it from season 1 by myself and with another person. Like, we all kind of like, me and him just brainstormed together. So that was what we had for season 1, but I'd rather from here on forward kind of update those brainstorms with all the team members that we're going to have trying to come back for season 2 and then season 3 and then season 4, and just try to keep piggybacking. And like, if we see anything that's different, like, oh, we need to add that, like 100%, we'll add it. So I really do like this, and I do appreciate everybody who has contributed their time for this. So that will wrap it up. Thank you guys so much again, and I will see you guys on the flip side.